do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Man Cave Monday. We back one more again.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. And so today I have four of my good brothers with me. Dex will not be able to make it, but I've got Days, Tez, Dre,
Mhm.
and Ness with me. All right. And so we're going to dive right in today.
Hold on a second. Before we even start, I got a question.
What's up?
You got your Joe Button mood on, son?
My
You
what?
got your Joe Button mood? I see the dad hat.
You know what I'm saying?
I see the dad
You know what
hat.
I'm saying? You gotta
All, all,
switch
I,
it up on them
all, I,
sometimes.
all I need is the soundboard with the gunshots.
Nigga said, no, Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
New Joe Budden.
you let me know. I'll get my boy to do a soundboard, a little man cave Monday.
I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally with that. All right. So, jokes aside, let's get into it. So, we're going to start off this week or this month by discussing something that is widespread and disgusting to me. And so I'm gonna start first, but we talking about ghosting. Ghosting is when someone stops communicating and doesn't say why. They go ghost, they vanish. And so ghosting is widespread. Ghosting is all over our culture. It is a part of modern day culture. And I want to start by saying I think ghosting is trash. I think ghosting lacks accountability and is really silly. I think it's an easy way to run away from problems as opposed to being an adult and saying, hey, these are the things that are going on. There's nothing wrong with choosing to walk away from a situation, but as adults, we communicate. And so I thought we should talk about ghosting, see how y'all feel about it. And yeah, I don't like it. I think the shit is whack. Uh, I think that even if things are so bad you want to walk away, when you are entangled with someone, wink, wink, you should have at least the courtesy to tell them, hey, this is not going to work and I'm going to walk away, as opposed to just throwing them on the block list and vanishing into thin air. So that's my 2 cents. But ghosting, what y'all feel about it? Chime in, brothers.
I mean, so I've ghosted before. Um, I can't say it's a negative thing. It's just sometimes I ghost for if me and a person have like we're at an impasse and I'm still staying at my point. I'm getting to a point where I'm not gonna listen until you come at me with an understanding of my point of view, or you know we're agreeing to disagree, and you're gonna keep batting that down. Then there's no reason for a conversation. I'm not gonna disrespect you and say, listen, I'm not talking to you no more. It's up to you. I said what I said, and that's it. If we are gonna keep talking about the same problems, or as back in the days when I used to give people advice all the time, and they come back at me when they didn't take the advice I gave them and they did their own thing and they said the same problems keep going on and on. I'm like, my time's not being valued here. I love you. I respect you. I gave you time and I gave you advice. Now you're just coming here to vent. If you're coming here to vent, that's perfectly fine. But if you're coming to me for advice, you're telling me up and down that I'm right. You're not lying to me. So that's a point of disrespect. And so I'll tell you, listen, I'm not going to give you advice anymore. That's that. But then you're going to continue to come to me asking for advice, asking for situation, for like, helps on situations. I'm sorry. Either we continue our friendship and ignore it and move that on, move on from that, or there's nothing there.
Well, ghosting is normally used when speaking about two people who are either dating or in some type of non-familial, non-family relationship,
Well,
as Nestor said last pod.
I was going with the general sense. Ghosting in a relationship should never happen. Then that should never happen. Um, because what's the point? What's the gist of it? Yeah,
Well,
what's
the
the
point is to avoid problems, avoid accountability, to say, you know what, Tez keeps blurring his background. I don't like it. But as opposed to telling Tez I don't like that he blurs his background, I'm going to just stop speaking to him.
I understand. I understand the point of view, but the thing that I'm trying to say is, if you're dating or if you're in an entanglement, um, communication should be a part of any relationship once it surpasses the the just talking phase when there's emotions or physicality involved. Um, Ghosting a person doesn't benefit anybody because you're avoiding confrontation can cause confrontation because oh I haven't spoke to la 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 for 2 weeks now la 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 sees me without with tra la la, there goes a problem.
All right.
I don't like to use names because then that
Oh,
starts
that's
that
fine. That
opens
was
up
perfectly
worms.
fine.
um that caused me a problem. That's an awkward situation. Oh, you're not with me no more now I'm in the middle of something in a place where I don't want to be. Had I just said yo listen this ain't working for me, this ain't us, or listen I need to do my thing for some time being, instead of being open in the front. I always tell people this: I'm at an age in my life where I have nothing to hide. I'll give you the truth. You can't handle it, then that's that. So I in relationships I don't do ghosting. And friendship wise, well, it's a different story.
Well, before we move on to the next person, what makes you ghost a friend? Like the advice thing you said?
I mean, it's just like if the conversation just seems like it's one dimensional, like if the relationship seems one dimensional amongst friends, where um or conditional, like a conditional friendship, like oh this person only comes to me when the world's turning blue. Like okay, that's not a friendship. I'm gonna you're here because you need me for one thing only.
Mm.
That's not a friendship. It's not genuine. It's conditional.
Mm.
Where I hit you up, yo, let's go to a concert. Nah, I can't go today. But yet you go with everybody else. You won't go with me. It's not really a friendship. But if the
Got
sky was blue, yeah, go to concert with you. Let's go. It's only when the sky is blue.
got it. Okay. Who want to bat up next? What y'all got?
Yeah. I think in general, yes, ghosting can be pretty shitty. Um, at least as far as people that do it just like because they're bored or whatever. It's just like, oh, I'm done with this. I'm just not going to talk to them anymore. Um, that aspect is pretty shitty. But honestly, no one really owes you an explanation for anything when they decide they just don't want to deal with you anymore. Um, in in that case, then I mean, they kind of told you everything by just cutting communication with you without any explanation. You really, I know for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I need that closure and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, but technically, that's it. Like, you really don't need to hear anything else from them after that. They said, hey, uh, I'm done with you, essentially. And then if it's something that they're doing something where they're trying to do I forget what it's called, but it's basically, oh, I'm going to give you some attention and then just cut it off completely. And then once in a while, just come back real quick, give you some attention, and then cut it off completely. Like that's insane and that's ridiculous. That's definitely something that shouldn't be a part of your life. So in that regard, you don't need to be communicating with somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I would say there are legitimate reasons for ghosting people,
Like what?
um, and that would be again in the sense of protecting your mental health. Because if it's someone that is constantly, uh, like Tez was saying, like a fair weather friend or somebody that's like just coming to you, uh, just to use you for that emotional support, but like never reciprocating anything, um, and never having your back in situations, then it's perfectly fine to just cut them off. If you want to leave them, hey, this relationship isn't working out because XYZ, you can, but you really don't need to because again, you don't really owe anyone any explanation. That's really something to be courteous or to give that person peace of mind. And obviously they don't care about your peace of mind, so you don't need to care about theirs. Um, and That's pretty much the most of it that I have.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Tess.
So so it's like what Nessa was saying too, where he agreed with me. It could also happen in relationships, right? Because there could be that one person. Obviously, I mean, I am going to relate it to myself. if there's a girl that only calls me because she's having problems with a boyfriend, and that's not the base of our relationship. If we're messing around, it's fine. We're messing around, but you're only messing around with me because your boyfriend's not there. If that's not a part of the agreement, then hey, listen, I'm not gonna play that part. You know, when it comes and everything, when it comes to ghosting, to me is just like I've exhausted every option. I've exhausted everything that I could do, and like Nessa said, it is to present the mental where you don't want to break the boundaries you have set for yourself, and it's like it's not running away in a sense. It's more of a protection. It's more of a protection mindset where you just need to just shut it down for a bit, and also in that time of you ghosting, it's also a time of like, do I need to be with this person? Do I really want to be with this person? And can I let this person go if need be? That's when, if I'm in that point in a relationship, even with friends, I'm like, can I live without this person now? And in that time, and also, do I matter to this person? Because that's also another thing too. If I ghost you, you don't say shit. That shows that this what I'm doing right now doesn't matter in the aspect of our relationship.
Yeah, but in common practice, ghosting, you would not be able to contact the person because you're blocked.
I mean, that's getting into a deeper semantic of ghosting. Ghosting just
Ah,
means
but
not.
that's usually what ghosting is. Usually ghosting is, let's say me and woman A went on a first date. Yeah, brother, what do you mean? No, that's common in ghosting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead,
yeah,
Dre.
but no, I was just gonna say like that is an aspect of it where it's like, yeah, okay, I blocked you. I'm on everything on every, so I'll never want to see you again. That's one aspect of it. But what Tez is saying is also another aspect where it's just like, okay, you ghosted me, like you cut off communication. I might still have access to communicate with you, but I haven't heard from you. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
not
so when it's
responding.
my turn
I
to
mean,
speak, I'm gonna pick
I'm
it
gonna
up.
wrap up
Right?
my point
Yeah.
right there,
Right.
right now. But to me, ghosting, and we should have started with that too. To me, ghosting is when you just not communicate with the person. It doesn't have to involve blocking, because blocking is an answer.
Right.
If we're in a relationship and you're blocked, oh shit, I guess it's over.
Hmm.
If every means of communication that we got happens, that's not ghosting. That's a dead end. Ghosting to me is like when you get those message and Tez has read the message.
Right.
January 1st. It's April. Tez read the message, didn't say shit.
Right.
You know, that's ghosting to me at least. You still have access to my number. My DMs are still open. You know that I'm reading them. Ghosting is just whatever.
All right, so
Yeah.
so I looked up
Yeah.
ghosting since we seem to have some debate about it.
The days.
I got to do it because I started with what I meant. I started the pod by saying what I meant about ghosting, but it's kind of taking a
Right.
turn.
Define
So now we
ghosting.
go to defining it. You know what I'm saying? So it says ghosting when
Okay.
someone cuts off all communication without explanation, extends to all things, it
Mhm.
seems. Most of us think about it in the context of digital departure, i.e., a friend not responding to a
Right.
text, or worse, a lover. But it happens across all social circumstances and is tied to the way we view the world. And that's from the New York
Yeah.
Times.
Blocking is
Yeah.
a
So that's
tool
a
of
Yeah, it's a
ghosting.
form.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
And then,
Part
right.
of it.
Right. It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's not totally. Yeah. So it's yeah. It's that's just one form. So
yeah, so
exactly.
that's but
I
my thing
feel,
is,
but
I was trying to say about what Tez's saying is, in Tez's example, Tez is saying he's already spoken to them, he's already given them chances. That's not the norm with ghosting. When you say, hey, I've exhausted all resources and now it's time to close the chapter, that's different than what's commonly known as ghosting.
That sounds more like fed
I
up.
think the yeah, but see, it depends on the communication, right? It's like if I have a friend of mine and they keep violating, right? And I'm just like, yo, you gotta chill with that, yo, you gotta chill with that, yo, you gotta chill with that. Okay. But I never say, listen, this is the last time. If you do that again, I'm telling you, I don't want to hear from you. Then they know why they haven't heard from me. But if I'm like, nah, it's cool. All right,
Very
I ain't gonna say
passively.
nothing. I
Very
ain't gonna say
passively.
nothing. And then, yeah. And then they never hear from me. They like, what happened? Like, I always
Right.
shit on you. Why is it a problem me
Right.
doing it now? You've never said anything. So that's a little bit,
Yes.
different. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, I gave you mad chances, but I'm letting you know this is
Right.
done.
And that's what
You
I
know?
mean. Like that's what I'm saying. Commonly,
Yeah.
ghosting is not after those several conversations. It's just
Yeah.
like, yo, Tess showed up with a blurred background. I ain't like that shit. I blocked him on everything. He's no longer on the pod. And it's like Tess has
Right.
no
Yeah.
idea what the fuck
Yeah.
just happened.
Yeah.
Or you just
And,
dip
and
on
so
them.
for
You
me,
just dip on them.
right.
You just
So for me, ghosting is cutting off communication, and the other person really doesn't know why. You never
Correct.
told them. You might have legitimate reasons, but
Right.
they don't know. And I know it, like everybody else know it, because it has happened to me many times, and I've probably done it many times. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever. So yeah, for me, it's like, okay, I wouldn't necessarily it's a bad thing. I think it all depends on the relationship that you have, right? So if I'm, on some like one night stand type, let's just for example, people know I don't do
for example.
that. For example, hypothetically speaking, I
Allegedly,
don't know why
allegedly.
cats are laughing. Allegedly,
Apparently.
one, in a different
You know what I'm saying?
dimension,
In
if you
another
will.
part of the multiverse.
Right, exactly. And multiverse strain, this dude is crazy. I don't know what to say about it.
Multiverse.
I have
Right.
nothing but disrespect for that dude.
Oh man.
But
MVP.
yeah, so if it's like, nah, if you like that, just for example, meet somebody and it's like a one night whatever, and you never hear from them, they never hear from you. I feel like ghosting in that sense is like, okay, fine, like there was no expectation of communications. Ghosting becomes an issue when it's like, this is somebody that you have some, the relation, this some kind of relationship there. Maybe you've gone out on a date or two if it comes to a romantic thing, or doesn't have to be romantic. It could just be like associates, friends, people who think that, hey, like, yeah, we cool, right? What's up? And you might send a text, like Tess is saying, I don't hear nothing. You might get that phone call, and we've all done it. It's like, yo, I constantly call this person, I never get the
Right.
call back. Are they okay? Are they all right? Are you still alive? Whatever. And you hearing from, maybe other people. Oh yeah, I just heard from so and so. Yeah, they good. Oh, they just text me, 5 minutes ago. Oh, okay. So you are getting my text, you are getting my phone calls or whatever, emails, whatever it is, but you're choosing to ignore them. That, as far as I'm concerned, is more of the ghosting. It's like, I might as well just be invisible because this person, put me on the pay no mind list. If you want to use some back
Right.
in the day, lingo. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is for me. And it's just like, yeah, here's what I think it is. And y'all could tell me. I feel like in today's dynamic of communicating, where most of it is a digital representation, through apps and text and all that, I feel like a lot of people have lost the art of communicating.
Agreed.
And ghosting is unfortunately an aspect of that. Meaning, here's a hard conversation I have to have, but I don't have the tools to know how to
Yes.
communicate.
How?
So because it's awkward and I don't know how to really do it, I'll just do nothing, right? It's no different than, you taking a chemistry test and they're like, okay, C plus X plus Y, and I'll put nothing because I have no idea how to do this. You just don't know. So you just leave it blank. And they're like, no, put something. You got to say something. I have no clue what to do. I don't know what to do. And I feel like with today's um, generation, there is they've lost the art of communicating. So to be able to sit down with somebody and say, listen, it's been cool or whatever, but um I think you cool or whatever, but I really don't want to continue this. This is I'm not enjoying it, whatever the reason is. I moved on. I feel like we have come to a conclusion. These are things that people don't know, and so to avoid conflict, to avoid that person, confronting them, to avoid confrontation in any way, people just ghost. um and so, yes, I think it's, well, I think it's unfortunate, but I was gonna say cowardly, but I actually feel like it's not more cowardly as far as, like, I think a lot of people lack the skill, and because they lack the skill, this is why we have this thing. People just don't know how to do it.
Well, also to add to the point, I believe that people are glorifying, the ignorance, because people will say, well, saying nothing is saying something, and I could see both sides of that.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could, like Jay like to say, I could argue both sides. You feel what I'm saying? I could see somebody, you know, ghosting me. Like we say back in the day, giving you the cold shoulder. You remember that?
Yep.
Person was giving you the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you would basically then come to the conclusion like, this person don't want to be bothered with me. But in that sense, we adults, it's better to communicate that, have some positive discourse, because believe it or not, in a lot of different situations, people grow apart, and it don't really got to be beef. You understand what I'm saying? You on a different path, I'm on a different path, we going in different directions. You know, express that. You know, if you can. A lot of times people act it out. They won't say it, they won't express it, but they'll act it out. You see it in their demeanor, you see it in their behavior. You run into them somewhere, like you said, shit get awkward, they'll turn and go in the other direction because they've been ghosting you all this time. You feel what I'm saying? Um, Instead of
Yeah.
just having that conversation, you know.
Right.
But then it's having that conversation, and then what you can't control, it's having that conversation, and then the other person walking away with resentment. I think people worry about that, and you can't really control that. Like Jay say, as long as you did your best, you did your part. You pulled up, you said, hey, let's have the conversation. You did that. You understand what I'm saying? You was very diplomatic about it, and if they walk away, with an issue still, then that's on them.
Mm.
No, I don't agree with ghosting. I believe ghosting is completely immature in some instances. I think communicate comprehensively. Have those conversations. Express the pros and the cons in which you will. I think I think as an individual, you could learn something too, because you never know what may come from that conversation with that person. Because ghosting in a sense too is selfish, because you kind of making a decision without even having a conversation with the person. You making that decision on your own to not have the conversation, but you don't know how they're gonna respond to the conversation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
also
And
selfish in a sense as well. Go ahead, Dre.
yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, I know Nessa said that too. It's like it's an answer without having an
Correct.
answer, which I agree, but it's a low form of communication. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than communicating by punching somebody in the face. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I'm angry, so I just punched you in the face. That's how I communicate. Well, that is a way to communicate, but it's a low
Right.
form. You know what I'm saying? Like, we supposed to be higher intelligent
Yeah.
people. And so, yes, you can say something by saying nothing, I guess kind of passive aggressive or whatever. And yeah, that's true. But I feel like, step up, be an adult, and, uh, especially if it's somebody that is somewhat significant in your life. I mean, when it has happened to me, to people who I'm like, yo, we like mad cool. We done broke bread together on many occasions. Somebody might even say, "Oh yeah, Dre, I've had this happen a couple of times. women been like, "Oh, I love you." Oh, word. Okay, that's what's up. Okay, so you're supposed to love me and we've had this bond that I think that is like pretty solid. Then I don't hear from you. It's like that's weird. You know what I'm saying? And you might felt like, well, hey, the relationship wasn't going the direction I wanted, or I felt I gave enough time. That's cool. I can respect all that. But put on your big girl panties and step up and say, hey, this is the reason why I feel like I don't really want to, continue or whatever, because like you just said, Days, it's like, well, you never know what I'm gonna say. And then I've had people come back after ghosting, which is even more awkward. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, yo,
That's the best.
it's like it's been 3 years. So how did you do over the pandemic? Oh, okay. Like we gotta have this conversation because this is weird. Like, you run into somebody and it's like very awkward, And normally if you ghost me and I run into you, I'm gonna act like I don't see you because you ghosted me, right? So what's the purpose of me stopping? Hey, how you doing? That's fake and phony, and I don't do that. So we ghosting means invisible. Me, I don't see you, right? Once again, when the term ghost I know from the street was when you put somebody down. You know what I'm saying? That ghost shit came from people saying, you Swayze. Swayze was like Patrick Swayze. And cats know that's from the movie Ghost. And so when you ghosted somebody on some street stuff, they were gone. They were out of here, right? So, you know what I mean? So it's like you invisible. You're not seen. So if I run into you on the street, I'm not gonna act like we cool. You've already made that decision. Now, if you come to me, that's the first order of business. We got to be like, yo, like, yeah. Like 2019, what the hell happened?
The flip side though, the flip side of ghosting though too could be somebody going through something, and they don't really know how to have that conversation. Because that's what I'm saying. I said there's multiple layers to this situation too. Because there's times where, I was going through stuff, and I didn't, I'm a very private person. So it's like I don't really be just having those conversations with anybody. Jay know, because that's my guy. But people will ghost like that in the sense where they don't really know how to have the conversation with you about what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? And they technically not ghosting certain people because, like I said, Jay would know, this one would know, but certain people wouldn't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm like that too, Days. But it's like I have the responsibility to say something. Yo, I'm going through something right now. I can't even, I can't talk. If somebody texts me, I'm not going to ignore the text I just saw. Now, I'm like you. Yeah, my relationships are spatial, so everybody don't know everything. So you might just be a work colleague, but I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna, not just straight ignore your text. I'm just gonna be like, look, I'm going through something right now. Now is not a good time. When I get an opportunity, I'll talk to you. Now that opportunity might be a month, might be 2 months, but that's the opportunity. Like I needed to go through something. It was 2 months later, and now I'm linking back up with you because I said I would. But I feel like, yeah, I'm not trying to tell everybody everything that I'm going through, but you have to be an adult and say something. Just because you're going through something and everybody gets in their shell does not mean you can now just ignore messages and texts from whether you dating people or not. Because I'm taking it outside just the realm of dating. I'm saying like, it could be friends, family members, whatever. If you're just going to be that immature and be like, well, I'm not talking to this person, I have nothing to say to them, and they reaching out. Yeah, I think it's immature.
Yeah, and it lacks common courtesy. I was waiting for everybody to finish. I didn't want to cut everybody else, but that was my point from the beginning. Like the common courtesy is what I'm speaking about. Nestor, yeah, you're right. They don't owe you anything if you only went on one date or if you're a one night stand. Or in Tez's example, I think his example is a little different because he's exhausted all resources, right?
Mhm.
But I'm speaking more about the common courtesy point where, like in Dre's example, I'll keep it real. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't have a problem being transparent. There's plenty of people who during the pandemic, I was checking in on every week. Yo, weekly check-in. Yo, how you feeling?
Right.
How's everything doing? Y'all know I was doing it with y'all. Yo, what's up? Weekly check-in. How you feeling? How you been? How's the fam? You good? Did you catch COVID? You know, what's up? You all right? You need anything? And I was doing that the whole time with a group of people. And all of a sudden, one person, I won't say names, but one person vanished. I'm like, okay. I start hitting people like Dre said, yo, you spoke to so and so? Oh yeah, I was on the phone with him yesterday. Oh wow, that's really strange. Okay, that's odd. Let me see. All right, now my spider sense start tingling a little bit. Hey, some ain't right here. Let me see. Let me hit somebody else up. Yo, what's up? You spoke to so and so lately? Oh yeah, I was with them last night. We was bar hopping. Wow. Okay, so clearly they ain't fucking with me. But why? I don't know. I still to this day have no idea why. And truly, I really brought this topic up more about the dating. But since we're here, let's do it. Like, I think this is even more irresponsible. Yeah, if we went on 3 dates, you don't owe me anything. But it is a common courtesy to just be like, hey, listen, man, you know, you're always wearing sweatpants and your breath stinks. I can't do it. Sorry. Okay, hey, listen, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for. I appreciate the common courtesy. Hat
And
tip.
you're helping him. You're
Hat
helping
tip.
him moving
Hat
forward
tip.
now.
Right.
Now
You know,
you're
hat
making
tip.
him aware. So
Right.
Damn, bro,
Now-
I'm chewing gum though, bro. I got sweatpants on. I'm chewing gum though, bro. Come
You know
on.
what I'm saying? I be
You got-
jogging.
you got-
That's why
you
I
got
got
playing
joggers
game?
on. You know what I'm saying? I be jogging. You know what I'm saying? But now you know, you're right. They don't owe you. They don't owe
You
you.
stay
that.
picking on me. The blurred background. Come on, man.
Nah, I have sweatpants on right now, son. You know my style, joggers,
Me
baby.
too, shit.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're right. Yeah, two.
Everyone stand up and show your pants.
And
Yo,
I got
Dre, that's
cotton
why I
mouth.
love you. I love you
Sweatpants
because
and
I was
cotton
thinking the
mouth,
same shit. I was like, man, is it foul to tell everybody to stand up and show their pants, though?
Fit
Sweatpants
check.
and cotton mouth. I feel attacked.
Ah, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
But,
picking on us. Throwing subs. Throwing subs in the booth. Look at them. Diss track on all of us.
But yeah, no, I think you're right, Ness. Yeah, like two dates in, probably not, but it is a common courtesy. And I think, as you are all saying, right, the more the relationship grows, whatever the dynamic is, as you said last part, a non-familial relationship, friend, mess around, you know, lover, person you're actually in a committed relationship with. I think as we continue to increase the relationship, you owe more of that. And so if we've been friends 10 years and you decide, hey, I ain't fucking with JD no more. Okay, cool. So where's the phone call? Where's the text? Where's the email? Where's the Instagram DM? Like, nigga, something. Like, you just fucking vanish and nobody knows why. Like, to me, that's way worse than the person who went on 2 dates with me and was like, nah, all of a sudden I'm clearly blocked. I mean, what do you say, Ness? Do you think it's cool for niggas who've been cool with you for 10 years to just not respond?
Well, no, I mean,
You
I
don't-
said
you
no
think they
matter
don't owe
what.
anything?
Yeah, no, I said no matter what, it's a messed up situation. And yes, if it's someone that you've built a pretty solid relationship or you felt was a pretty solid relationship, and they just disappear on you, just completely stop. Yeah, it's definitely messed up, and an explanation is probably expected, and yeah, you probably want closure on that, but it still is something that's not owed. Like an explanation is never owed to the other person. It's an expectation for sure. And like you said, like I said before, it's courteous, but it's definitely not something owed. No one owes you anything.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Dre, and then I'll go.
Yeah. I gotta say I disagree with that as well, because I feel like now we're talking about relationship dynamics. Okay, what are the dynamics of a relationship? Now let's just get, for the sake of argument, let's get out of dating for a minute and talk about a relationship that all of us have. We have a relationship with our employers, with our work, right? You walk in, I've been working for this place for 10 years, right? I walk in ready to work, you know, Monday morning, let's get it popping. Oh yeah, Dre, you don't work here no more. What? Nah, you don't work here. What happened? Well, I ain't gotta tell you what happened. I don't owe you an explanation. Peace. So that's wrong, right? I'm looking at everybody's face right now. You're like, well, that's messed up. That would be messed up. Yes, it's wrong, because you do in all relationships. especially like Jay is saying, based on the time and energy and what this person has been in your life, there's a dynamic, a certain dynamic of all relationships that says if you respect this person, you owe them, even if you're cutting things off, you owe them at least an explanation. Hey, work is not coming in. We don't get as much sales as we used to. We used to have this grant, and that grant has ran out. We can't afford your position anymore. You got to tell a person something because they've been there. And we understand that when it comes to the work relationship, but I'm just saying all relationships have the same dynamic. So even if it's a dating situation or a family situation or whatever relationships we're talking about, if you put that time in, you know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, I feel like tell me something, now you can't force anybody to do anything, but yes, we are talking about what the expectation is of a relationship.
Sure.
If you don't meet that, if you don't meet that expectation, well, yeah, you don't either know, you don't have the tools, like I said earlier, or you're just an asshole, whatever. But that expectation is still present whether you meet it or not.
Like, yeah, exactly. The expectation is there, but it's not owed. And in the example you gave with workplace, I work in New York. It's an at-will state. They can fire you for any reason, and they don't have to give you a reason. It's a courtesy to give you a reason, and it's expected, sure, but they don't have to give you a reason. There's no owed reasoning. So yes, expectation 100%, but they don't actually owe you a reasoning. The only time that owing of a reason comes in is when there's like laws in place. You have to have a reason. What's that thing called?
But
the groups, the working groups, the
unions.
Thank you.
Jay just said unions. Yeah. Jay just said
union situations. They require.
Tez, I see you.
They require that. They require that you give that explanation because it has to be a legitimate one.
Yeah. So what you're now talking about is the law, and what I'm talking about is relationship dynamics. So even in the state, and my state is the same thing, an at-will state. Why will jobs, even though they can just tell you, hey, I don't owe you explanation, there's no law saying I have to do it, why would they do it anyway? The reason why they do it anyway is because they know that they're not going to have many people working there when the word gets out that, yo, Amazon, when they first fire you, they just fire you, son. They don't say nothing to you. They just tell you to get out. They take their keys and they throw you out. No, they got to say something because you don't want to be that employer that is known for just being an asshole, right? No one would want to work there. And so forget about the law. What I'm saying is what's right. You know what I'm saying? The law can be switched and turned to anything, but we as human beings got to step up and be more civilized and be able to say, hey, based on relationship dynamics, this is wrong. It's a whole plethora of things in terms of relationship dynamics, but one of them is how to end a relationship. What's the proper way to do that? And I believe communication is the key.
Definitely. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tez.
Just to round it up, in New York, yes, you don't need a reason. I mean, you can get fired for anything. That's what the at-will means. But you are required to get a reason because for unemployment's sake. So if you are fired because you're late to work every day or you didn't show up, you don't get unemployment. But you are allowed to get a reason for why you're fired, so you can apply for unemployment. I'm just saying in that defense because I know that part.
I think the whole point. I think we're just all looking at different phases of it, and I think that's cool. I think that it does depend on the dynamics, the time, the relationship. I've known y'all for eons, all of you. If tomorrow I just stopped communicating with all four of you, and nobody knew why, I'm sure there would be lots of questions. And if you hit me up and my response was, I don't owe you anything, I'm pretty sure you'd be knocking on my door the next day.
Nah. That means you're already in the place that we already spoke of before. All right. That means you found a plethora of money or goods and you're securing it in an offshore bank account. I know the truth. I know what it is, bro. It's gonna be like Shawshank. I'm gonna get that letter in the mail or something one day. I don't even know. Oh, it's a postcard from Jay. It's not even from Jay. It's from some name that Desmond Mobay. Oh, Desmond Mobay. I know what it is. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
That's it. Nah, but jokes aside, if I do think if today I just ceased communication with all four of you, I don't think anyone would be satisfied with that. I think there is an expectation which we all agreed on, and I think that yeah, if you hit me back and was like, "Yo, man, I ain't heard from you in 2 weeks. I ain't see a pod out. I ain't see a clip out. What's going on?" And my response was, I don't owe any of you anything. In the man cave group chat, I'm pretty sure people would be feeling away, and probably be some people knocking on my door. You disagree, Ness?
I don't disagree on my part. That's my answer.
Got it.
I got my answer. I don't need to look for you after that.
Nah.
Yeah, no doubt. That I dig. I dig that too. It's like if I know you for all these years and I'm sending you communications, texts, phone calls. I've had it happen where it's like, man, I'm texting this, I don't hear nothing. Phone call, I don't hear nothing. Like, whoa, all right. I'm gonna give it some time because you never know a person's situation. I'm like, if they're going through some dangerous thing, their building is collapsing. They might need a few days before they can, get around to telling you I'm okay. So I'm gonna give a person, some time. But if I'm constantly doing it, and I don't hear anything, yes, Ness, you're right. Yeah, I ain't gonna show up at your door. I'm not going wild out. I'm not gonna be you owe me. I'm not. You said what you needed to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's unfortunate, and I don't front of myself like
Right.
of course
I
would be hurt.
was just gonna
I'm
say that.
like,
It's not like I wouldn't be hurt. It's just
You know?
that I got my answer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but it is different though because it's also like Jay's my brother. For him to get to this point, then it means something real serious has happened, or I did
Correct.
something to have made this happen. And again, revealing a layer of myself. Whenever there's a problem in a friendship or a relationship, I naturally gravitate to something that I may have done wrong. It's my mental way at work. It's not healthy, but it's me. So I'm thinking a mile a minute at that point where like, what did I do? Did I say something? Did I not do something? Did I forget something? Or is there something that this person was expecting of me? I'm a kind of person, I don't text often, but you need to talk to me, we'll talk. That's fine. I'm always there for everybody, and I know my circle's there for me when I need it. But if Jay comes out of left field and texts, tell me, I don't need you. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, we dead ass slipped in a triangle once, like, come on.
Right.
No, joking aside, if I was to get that kind of message, then it's a concern. Something's up. It's a foreign element of our relationship because I know that I have a communication with Jay, and in that relation, and to stem it all to the point that we're making here. In any relationship, there needs to be that communication, right? There needs to be that confidence, and to tell that person good news, and to tell them the bad news. Hey, this ain't working out, But especially in a friendship or like a brotherhood between me and Jay, if I did something wrong, my man, tell me. How I understand sometimes you need a moment to yourself to really gravitate, like, yo, is this really affecting me that way? As soon as yo, yesterday, bro, you complained about the blurred camera, bro. Like, come on, I'm tired of it. Bring it up. Right. It's that. But to come out of left field and say, yo, man, don't worry about it, you ain't been here. That's concerning to me.
Yeah, and I think then it becomes, what is the style of communication? Which is a whole nother topic for another time. But I think it goes back to what Daze was saying, which is that you never know how someone's going to respond. And so I think it's the way in which you communicate, I'm done with this relationship. Or like you're saying, Tez, well, you messed up and my feelings are hurt, or I feel away, or whatever. If I say, well, Ness, blah, blah, blah happened, and I wasn't really digging that. That's much different than me being like, yo, Ness, yo, fuck you, man. You ain't shit. You's a bitch ass nigga. Hey, wait a minute. That's a very different style. And so, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think everything we're saying kind of comes to this point where, yeah, you do expect communication. There should be communication, but it's how you have that communication. So that's my last thought. Any last thoughts before we move on, fellas?
Ghost, you don't even want to know. Triple Long wrote a song like to hear
Talk
it,
to
here it
him,
go.
son.
Ricochet Rabbit had a habit. No. That's from that Ghostface Supreme
That's why I said
Clientele.
talk to him. You know what I'm
Bars.
saying? Talk to him. All right. So
ahead,
let's
that's
move
it.
on to our next topic. And I know the default answer is yes, but I also know that this question is not so black and white. And so the question is this: if your friend is thriving, that means doing really fucking well, but you are struggling to stay afloat, should you still be happy for your friend? I leave it to y'all to answer.
Before what do you think that you said the default answer is yes?
I mean, yeah, the default answer is sure is yes, but I think that's not so black and white in the situation I'm presenting. And if I'm wrong
So,
and that's not the
let me see if I
default answer, then please,
No.
I like when we argue
Yeah,
up
let
here.
me
You
see
know
if
what I'm
I-
saying? I enjoy when there's discourse. I really don't like when everybody's like, yes, 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 yes. Okay, move on.
I would like to know what the nuance is
Yeah,
in that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was like, let me see if I understand. So your friend is
They're
thriving.
doing super well. They're doing
you're-
fucking amazing.
They're doing super.
But your life is in
Right.
shambles.
And so the question is, do I want them to keep
No,
thriving?
should you be happy for your friend?
Should you feel happiness?
Oh, of course.
Should
Yeah,
you feel
of
it?
course. I mean, because it's like, I mean, let's put it to extremes. It's like, well, if I'm locked up for whatever reason, and you out there, doing the best, yeah, I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want us both to be locked up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's miserable. With the fact that your friend is out there doing really well, I think that's great. And perhaps the more well they do, maybe they can be in a position to somehow help you someday. Who knows? And even if they don't, what does one thing have to do with the other?
Right.
It's like, well, they're doing well. That's awesome. Keep doing it. Like whatever you're doing, I'm proud of you. Honestly, like I could be down to my last dollar and still be like, I'm proud of you.
Right.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
I mean, it's some sucker shit. If you're successful and I'm not, that has nothing to do with me, right? Unless we're a team or something that we built this together, and then Jay's the Shawn Michaels in this relationship. I'm Marty Jannetty, and I go down to Squalor.
All right.
Then that's still technically on me, right?
But I'm just a sexy boy.
Listen, but it's also on me, right? Take the steroids, work hard in the gym, work on my promos, and I could be just as good too, right?
Attack you and Brutus the Barber Beefcakes.
Exactly.
Not better, still not better. Don't worry.
Didn't
About
even notice it's turning into a wrestling pod.
By the way, Tez does wrestling on every Tuesday. Just let you know.
Say it again. Let them know where they can find it. Let them know where they can find
Come
it.
on now.
Twitch.tv/Cortez, CORETEZ.
There you go.
No, but seriously, I'm sure you see it a lot in music, and you see it a lot in almost anything, even streaming, for example, right?
Mhm.
I could say I was like this at a point, but it's just like, why am I mad at the person doing better than me? When you look at it, their work ethic was greater, right? I hate doing video editing. I hate it. I would have more growth if I decided to fucking put some time and energy into fucking editing videos for TikTok and Instagram. I would have my viewers go up. But I'm also a cocky person where, guess what? Without that, I became in the 1% of all WWE 2K streamers last year.
Holler.
So, I mean, that's me, right? But I know that, hey, if a person does the same thing, does more work, gets more followers, then they deserve it. I'm not going to be that. I mean, it makes no sense to be that bitter person just because that person extended, And if we're friends, support them no matter what. Because
Right.
it's different of like, oh, they're like the person who's on top is like, I can't fuck with you no more. You're not on my level. Like, bro, I can't, like, you're not here. That's different.
Right.
But if the dynamics of the relationship is still the same, and just only because that person is more successful, that makes no difference.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Days, go ahead.
Good days.
Remember, we spoke about this on the pod before. Like, at some point, I know I was next to you, you did see that person struggle before they reach this level of success. You get what I'm saying? How could you not be happy for them? You get what I'm saying? Like everybody face some type of hardship, on a road to success. And if that person is your friend, I guarantee you seen that, you witnessed that before you get to witness the success. You get what I'm saying? So me myself, automatically, I'm a team player. I see the bigger picture, so I'm gonna feel it automatically. But for someone else, I definitely think that they should, you know, feel that, and channel that, be inspired by it. Don't have the opposite effect. Some people, they see it and they feel some type of resentment. Like Taz was saying, they may feel like they owe it, but this person is owed it. They put in the work. You get what I'm saying? They put in the work. If I'm not putting in the work, then how could I not be happy for this person? How could I feel like I'm owed their position when I'm not putting in the work to be in their position? But if we talking about rooting for
Yeah.
our friends, then absolutely, I'm all there. You know,
Go ahead, Dre.
Hold on, Dre.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing just to go with him.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But the person who's not as successful as the other friend, right? You saw the recipe. You saw all the ingredients that went into that success.
correct.
So if you're bitter at that person because they didn't carry you, that's still on you because you saw everything that went into the pot. You saw
Absolutely.
the work, you saw the creativity, you saw whatever options that they took.
Sweat equity.
Yes, the sweat equity, yes.
Yes.
But you saw the whole recipe. That's on you now. So we also live in a sad environment where everybody wants handouts, everybody wants to be lifted up to the top. It don't
Correct.
work like that.
All right, go ahead, Dre.
Here's the thing, because I dig what y'all saying in terms of hard work, but here's the reality. Sometimes cats get to where they got to and they were just lucky. They was at the right place, the
Absolutely.
right time, met the right person, bumped into the right person. You know what I'm saying? And they just like boom, because I met this dude or this woman or whatever. It took me way where So it's like cats could be rappers, actors, whatever, and putting in mad work, and it's just not happening. We know
But
we
that's
see
your
it,
friend.
but some people, yeah, but some people get really lucky. So what I'm saying is, I'm not even looking at it in terms of like, wow, we put the same work in, because it may have nothing to do with that. This person may have just came on the scene. We see it
Right.
all the time. Somebody just come onto the scene. I've been rapping for 3 months. How are you way up there? It's just that they just met the right people, right time, whatever, and got there. Or an actor, right? Like some people been acting for mad years, only tiny little roles. Someone else comes up on the scene, been at the right place, right time, met the right person. Within a month, they
Kang the Conqueror.
in the Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, how did you just blew up like that? I've been trying to do this for forever. So my thing is, I would still be happy for them, even if they didn't put the same work
I
in I
see what
put
you're
in.
saying.
It's like, yo, man, I'm glad you lucky. Okay, you was walking down the block and you found $100 bill. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like you just was in the right place at the right time. I don't want anything from you or mad that doing your thing.
I'm happy
Maybe
for you.
that day I lost it. Yeah, I'm happy
Yeah.
for you. Maybe I was chilling and I lost a $20 bill face or something, but you found 100. Why should I be upset? It's like you got lucky, and sometimes that's how life is when we talking about this whole thriving thing. Because I think that's what happens. People look at recipes, right? They go, "Oh, so and so got 1 million views because they did this, this, and this." And then you live your life doing this, this, and this, and you're not getting what they
Facts.
getting. Well, maybe that person just got kind of lucky. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they introduced something at a certain time, because it's always about time and place. So this is why I know we've said on this before, authenticity is everything. You got to be doing things because you love to do it, because you like to do it. And if you get up there, yo, keep going. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, in terms of creating or performing, if you love to create and perform, create and perform. Do it because that's why you want to do it. There's no reason to hate on a person that's getting up maybe more views or are at venues you can't get to or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Do it because you love doing it. That's it.
Ness.
And
Oh, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
no, I was saying, like, I feel where Drake coming from, like just being happy for the person overall. It's like you got lucky, you put in the work, you didn't, somebody, you well connected, etc., etc., etc. Just
Right,
being
right.
happy for the person overall. you know, and I'm gonna keep saying that, especially when it comes to friendship. If that's your friend, you should feel joyful. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, you should be ecstatic. You know, that's your friend. You know, we ain't even talking about you reaping the benefits. We're not talking about none of that stuff. We're just talking about it happened.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, you being joyous because it happened.
Got you. Go ahead, Ness,
So
and then
so
I'll chime in.
yeah, so you touched on the part I was gonna say. Basically being happy for their happiness, for their success. It's actually like I had to look it up because I knew there was a word for it because it's something that we hear about a lot, like in terms of like poly relationships, and it's
Okay.
compersion. It's basically the opposite of jealousy. It's
Mhm.
they're happy about something, and it's not that you're upset about it. You're happy that they're happy. They found someone they're happy about, or they found success in something, whatever it is. You're happy for their joy, for their happiness, for their success. You're happy for those things, and that's that. I want to start with that because that was like the first half. That was half of what I was going to say, and like since
Okay.
everybody was touching on it, I want to bring that out. The other half is it also kind of needs to be said that you have to understand that this doesn't mean that you can't be unhappy for your situation or anything like that, or you
Yeah.
can't it's not that you can't be, you know, upset that things worked out differently for that person versus for you. It's just, as Dre said, hey, they had better luck in a certain situation. Even if you're putting in the same work, sometimes that happens. Like they just hit the right moment, the right time, everything just like falls right into place for them. And it's not about like, you know, um not being upset that you didn't get it, or not being upset that it didn't work out differently, but understanding that that has its place, as well as your happiness because your friend is succeeding in something that they want to succeed in as well. So I think that's definitely something besides like understanding that, oh yeah, sure, like I'm not going to be upset they succeeded, but understanding those emotions, that the negative side of those emotions, they are still going to be there. Just understand that it's not something that you're going to overshadow their success with.
Well, I to add to your point, Ness, I think that's a great point. Um, two things could be right at the same time, right? And I think some people don't know how to separate their differences
Right.
at that point. And I think that's why I said what you said was great, because it's like you can still feel what you feel, and that's okay. However, you can feel what you feel for your friend too, and that's okay as well. The same way your friend could acknowledge your situation just as well as be able to feel his situation too.
Right.
I know some people, they try to make people feel guilty. You get what I'm saying? And I think that that would be very effed up. Your friend is in a celebratory mode, and you going through what you're going through, and you kind of, you know, want them to, feel what you feel at the moment
Right.
more so than what they feeling at the moment,
Right.
which is much more celebratory. I think that's selfish. I think that's where situational awareness comes in at. Like Dre like to say, you said situation and circumstance. I think that's something that you were saying as
Yes,
well.
yes, sir.
I think all of those things come into
Hmm.
play, and I think that's where people are could be mature enough to separate their differences, for you to know mentally, like, okay, this person, what's happening for them is a good thing, and we should be happy for that. And I should not feel any type of way for them being happy for their situation because of what I'm going through, because what I'm going through is okay as well. You know, I think a lot of people overlook that, separating their differences, at that particular time.
Got you.
That
Go ahead,
that,
Tess.
that is good old flat fashion. You ready? Player hating.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. It's the player haters ball.
That's right.
You see someone else succeed, man, he ain't shit. Right?
Hmm.
We've seen it. We've seen it. It happens. This is as long as time has been around. That's been happening.
Yep.
You know, Is it right? No, it's not.
Yeah.
But we seen this play hating, bro. We take it down to semantics.
But yeah, no, you're right though, Taz. It's like that is old fashioned player hating, right? That's that old skip, from Puff. Try that shit on the train,
Right.
son. Try that shit on it. You know what I mean? Just like hating, like that's exactly
But
what it is. And
but we can also take it back too. We
Yeah,
can take it back to the schoolyard days. Oh, Jay got the new Jays. I'm gonna step on them shits. But that's my boy. I don't give a
Right.
fuck. He got them. I ain't got them, bro.
Shoes.
That's exactly what it is. Some people, and to play
That
to
ain't
play
your
the
homie. That ain't your homie.
to play the answer to the situation. There's people out there who just are malicious and they feel like they're entitled to your success, and it doesn't operate that way. It doesn't. I grew up with everybody around me getting Jordans. I never owned a pair of Jordans. When I was young, I was like, damn, like why the fucking can't get Jordans? But you want to know something though?
yeah, same thing with
I
me.
learned at a young age that those Jordans take out from my food money, from my rent money. Makes a mom struggle, right? Because
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
wear a pair of shoes that I only wear for what? A couple hours a day at school. And when I come home, I throw them on the wall just to chill and play my Nintendo. Nah, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
But to take it back to semantics, it's all about people just hate seeing people succeed. That's not themselves. And when they get there,
Right.
and when they get their success, yeah, I did it myself. I didn't need nobody. Meanwhile, your whole team was behind you. Your whole team was sharing your shit. Your whole team was promoting you and pimping you out to all their friends. And you're gonna squash it like that? Nah, man.
Yeah, I would go to say a step further. Tez is actually the crabs in the barrel mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm going to hold on to you so you won't get out.
Mhm.
Right? It's we know how you can just take a bowl, a bunch of crabs, put them into a bucket, and you don't have to worry about none of them escaping because they will never work together. They'll always keep pulling somebody down, and that's what happens when you play a hating so much. Only thing you want to do is see people inside this same bucket of doom that you're in.
And
And we really got.
And the worst part of that situation is that happens in relationships. That happens in marriage. To put this in a full circle of the podcast.
Yeah.
There's people out there who don't want to see their partner succeed. Nah, I want to be the one. I'm the man of the relationship. I gotta be the breadwinner. It's gotta be my name on this. No, bro. The second y'all enter the relationship, the second y'all move together, y'all a team. And I've always said it, and I said this before. Relationships is a business agreement. Right. You and I are putting our assets together to become stronger. Your success is in turn my success. But it's not in terms of my success, it's our success.
Right.
That's why I like the term partner. I see that being used now in the past like 3 or 4 years. People are using the term partner more than anything else because it gives you a mindset. Like you're saying, it's like not just our assets in terms of financial assets, that's one layer, but it's like we putting together our brain power, we putting together our strength, our physical endurance, whatever it is that we have, our wittiness, our relationships. Like my people are now your people are now my people. Like we are partners, we're in this together. I agree so much that a lot of relationships will have the self-destruct button because they get into competing mode, and for me personally, I'm not interested in competing with
it's honestly
anybody,
tragic. It's tragic at that point.
Yeah, let's build, no doubt. Yeah.
All right, let me chime in and let everyone go. And so I've been on both sides of this. I've been doing very well, and I've seen people around me hating as they are struggling. And I've also been a person who's homeless and sleeping on couches while other people are doing fucking amazing. And so, yes, I understand that internally it's hard to see the person on either side of you doing fucking amazing, right? It's hard to speak to Dre and say, man, I just got this contract. I'm doing XYZ right now with the karate stuff, with the martial arts. I'm like, man, Dre's killing it right now. But I'm sleeping on Ted's couch tonight, and I ain't got nowhere to go. Internally, that's hard, and I understand that, and I respect that. But I think you guys hit it on the head already. Two things could be true at the same time, right? It could be hard to deal with what I'm dealing with, but I could also appreciate and celebrate the great things that Dre has going on in this example, right? I think what happens is kind of what you guys already said. So, in the words of Dex, I'm just adding to what you guys are saying. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to
Um,
Dex.
Shout out to Dex. We miss you. Um, I think that, yeah, you can, you can see a person thriving, but if that's your people's, you should show love to them. And I think you guys said it already, but what happens is people have this internal hate system. The crabs in a bucket mentality is the best example, probably, where, yeah, I don't want to see anyone else in this pod doing better because I got to be the guy on top. I got to be the guy. Now, I only put out clips with me because, fuck everybody else. I got to get all the shine. Clearly, these are dramatic examples, but this is what happens. People don't want to see it. You even hear it in songs. Like, Neo has a song called Cracks in Mr. Perfect, where he says, I like to see everybody doing good, just not better than me. And it's very true. He might be very transparent and saying it, but a lot of people feel that way. And that's why I asked the question, because there are plenty of times when people who are your so-called friends, quote unquote, will see the things you're doing and be like, damn, but how the fuck they get there? How the fuck that's possible? But Tez just started streaming. How the fuck he's doing so well? You know what I'm saying? And so you wanted to say something, Dre?
Yeah, go ahead when
Okay.
you're done. Yeah.
And so I brought the question here because I see it very often. I see it between artists, like musicians. I see it between friends, like Tez said. I see it in relationships. And so I wanted to bring it here to the pod to discuss it because I think, yeah, it can be hard to see someone doing very well, exceptionally well, when you're struggling to even stay afloat. Like, man, I mean, I made the song Pockets Full of Lint. I was barely able to pay my bills. And all of y'all were killing shit. And I wasn't hating on nobody. I was still going to whatever shows I can and coming to hang out with y'all whenever I can. But I mean, I ain't have it. You know what I'm saying? And I was honest about that too. And I was like, hey, days I would love to come to your show tonight, brother, but I can't even get on the train. Like I can't even do it. You know what I'm saying? But Days was killing shit. And so I think, yeah, it is hard, but you gotta be able to put your, back to our first episode, your pride and ego aside and say, hey, that's someone I love. That's someone I care about. And I should be applauding them and celebrating them and helping them as much as I can, even though my situation, whatever that situation is fucked up. Go ahead, Dre. I know you want to say something.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, and I really want to just take a moment to look at this word thriving, because I think a lot of times when we hear thriving or success, we put like some sort of financial thing to
Oh, okay.
it, right? And I've lived long enough to meet a lot of people who are doing really well financially, but they don't feel like they're doing well because they got something else where they might look at me and be like, Dre, you're thriving. And I'm like, but I'm broke. But it's like, no, but son, I see you in the gym. You lifting 350. You just posted you rode your bike 20 miles today. Like, I can't do any of those things. And I'm younger than you. You know what I'm saying? So now it gives me a different perspective. It's like, oh, I didn't see myself as thriving. Oh, but I am thriving in this. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like when we look at the word thriving or success or whatever, it's not just what dollar value, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I know plenty of cats, millionaire cats, who are just like, yo, yeah, I got resources to this and that, but there's so many things I wish I had, and I look at you and you like, man, you're doing it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, let's not only look at thriving or success in one aspect. There's a plethora of things. You have good health. Yo, trust me, there's a lot of people in the hospital right now who would love to be thriving the way you are. Yo, you got up and you was able to use both feet and you can see. As far as I'm concerned, you thriving, because I'm in the wheelchair and I got to be on this mic and have it talk to you because I can't do that.
Define thriving.
You see what I'm saying? So
I'm done with you, Days. Days, I'm ghosting you.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there that, it's not just
No, I
finances,
agree.
and we tend to put ourselves down because
That's
it's
a
like,
great
oh
point.
yeah, I can't afford those Jordans. I'm not getting the Maybach. No, I can't do
Right.
all that. No, but what I can do, I'm super fucking good at, and I see myself thriving in a
No,
different
that's
way.
a great point.
That's
That's a great
great.
point. I
That's an
totally
amazing
agree.
point.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is. It could be anything. You're absolutely right. It could be anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, to thrive means to make a way, I believe. It's like to make a way,
Mm.
I believe. So if you're thriving, you're making a way. You know what I mean? You have the ability. You're in the motion. You feel what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
I think that's why I think that's such a great point that you made.
Right. All right. And now we go to our final topic. This is going to be a short pod. This might be our shortest episode yet. Let's see how this last one goes. No clapping. Boo. So I want to constantly bring different topics to this podcast. And so I don't only want to talk about relationships in different ways. And so let's talk about something a little different. And there's a lot of things going on today with the US dollar. And I don't know what people know or don't know. I guess we'll find out as we speak here. But there's a lot of shit going on with the US dollar. And I was wondering, as average Joes that we are you concerned about the current state of the US dollar? Why or why not?
I guess I'll chime in first.
Do it.
So, for context, for everybody, I guess here and also watching, the U.S. and I don't know the whole extent of everything. All I know is that India has stopped using the dollar as their currency and reverting to their own. And I believe Japan recently stopped buying oil from us and is exclusively buying oil from Russia. Both will affect the dollar tremendously, for both are thriving economies, and both are
Let's see what you did there.
uh, and both are is going to be it's going to be a nasty hit. The problem that I see with the current state of politics, and I'm not going to get political, um, it's not even a big mention because everybody's focusing on other things that also do need to be rectified as well. But yeah, we're not going to see it now. We're definitely going to see this probably by the end of summer. Am I concerned? Yes, I am concerned because the value of the dollar is diminishing more and more. And
Right.
Even though, the Russian currency is null and void to most because of what's going on over there with what they did with the Ukraine, and what they're doing with Ukraine, not what they did because it's still going on. It's not going to be pretty for us. It's not going to be pretty for, and I don't say us because I'm on the team, us because I live here. That's a different topic for another day. However, this is going to be very impactful, and I don't know how or when exactly because I'm not a currency guru. I just know that when I read those headlines, which happened to be about in the same week, I know that it's very concerning.
So it is China, Russia, Brazil, India, Asian nations, Kenya, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are now using local currencies in trade. The global de-dollarization campaign is gaining momentum as countries around the world seek alternatives to the US dollar. Just to help you out there, brother.
All I read was those two, but it's even worse than what I thought.
Yep. And so that paired with our just coming out of a pandemic, I was curious, what y'all feeling like?
Well, it sounds like a bunch of countries ghosted America.
Hold on. I forgot one more thing.
Ghosted America.
I forgot one more thing. I forgot to mention also that the banks almost fucking blew up on themselves like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they're still going through this. They're not recovered yet. It's not officially recovered yet.
No.
So
Wow.
it's
and that's why I'm asking. Right.
Mr. Robot needs to happen. That's it, bro.
Mr. Robot, holler. Go ahead, Days, because you started and got cut off.
No, I was joking by saying, it sound like all those countries ghosted America, but I think it draws heavy concern because, the more the value of the dollar goes down, right? We said goes down,
Mhm.
um, the more everything else goes up. Usually we suffer, we pay for it, quote unquote, the little people. Prices in stores go up, then you have gouging, of course. um and it's not like the cost of living the cost of living, like the way they paying you is not, it's not adding up to the resources around you. So it draws heavy concern, you know
Okay. Go ahead, Dre. I know you wanted to talk. I saw you leaning in.
Yeah, uh, I was gonna go last, but it doesn't matter. Um, so I mean, some of you might know that I'm somewhat familiar with these things because I do follow what's going on worldwide, and we all should be concerned, right? So, quick history lesson: the dollar used to be tied to gold. It used to be said that a dollar is as good as gold because the United States tied the value of a dollar to our gold and our reserves. And that made a stable dollar. And so the world was like, yo, this is a stable currency. Let's just all buy and trade with it. The US was trustworthy at that time. Then, about the 70s, Richard Nixon was like, well, what we're going to do is temporarily untie the US dollar from gold and make it what we have now is a fiat currency, meaning nothing really gives it power but me telling you legally, this, you're going to have to do this. Once that happened, um, the world got a little nervous. But they was like, the U.S. is like, hey, you could trust us. This is only temporary. It's only temporary. It's only for a few, that we're going to go right back. Well, that was in maybe 71, 72. So we realized it wasn't temporary. And that's the first time the U.S. is like, the world is like, the U.S. is some lying MFers. They said it was going to be temporary and they didn't. Um, from that point on, it's always been a fiat currency, and the U.S. has been um, drunk with their power over the world. Basically, it's like I don't have to keep balance sheets. I don't have to make this dollar make sense worldwide. I can just keep printing and printing and printing. Anytime I want something, I got the unlimited credit card. I'll just print whatever I need. And the world is looking at this like, whoa, this dollar is becoming unstable because the US is coming real drunk on it. They're not trying to stabilize their currency. So what you're talking about, Tez, and I think uh Jay was talking about it too, is something they call BRIC, right? This is one aspect. BRIC is Brazil, Russia, India, China, all coming together and being like, yo, maybe let's not use the US currency because it is not stable. And this is going to be a big wake up call to everybody, especially the cats like us, regular Joes, because, like Days is saying, we do everything in dollars, right? We save dollars, we buy things, homes, cars, groceries. And now, because the US decided years ago to have an unstable dollar, the world is saying, hey, um, we want some more stability, and they're taking the punch bowl away from the United States because you've been drunk way too long.
Mm.
And so I am concerned. I feel like it's going to get way
Mm.
worse. Um, and the only thing the US can do is two things. Because remember, it's a fiat currency, it's a forced currency. And so when the question is, well, what backs the US dollar now? We know it's not gold. So what backs it? Well, what does the US have more than any other country? Big ass muscles, big ass guns and missiles and everything. And so that being the case, if they say we're going to make you use this dollar, there's only one way they can really do it, and that is creating some BS reason to get into wars and forcing countries to do this. Now, this would be a problem because we know China ain't no bitch ass nigga, right? And they're gonna be like, yo, son, you ain't gonna just be slapping me around, making me do stuff.
Right.
I got guns too, and here we go. So I am concerned. I don't know where this is going to end up, but there's something called hyperinflation. You guys can look that up when you get an opportunity. And that just means that because less countries have less and less value in our dollar gets weaker and weaker and gets hyperinflated. Everything is like you paid, $3 for bread. Well, now it's $20 for bread because the US dollar is becoming almost like junk. And we don't think that this can happen, but as Tez is saying, Jay's saying, it's like we're reading it, we're noticing, we're getting closer to that happening. And I think the only way the US could do is try to create a stable dollar, but it would mean drastic changes in how we do business. And I don't know, I feel like this is a country that loves to go to war rather than fix its own problems. So I think that'll happen.
Very
It's
stubborn in
sad.
that way. Yes, I can see that. Very
Yeah.
stubborn in that way. Because they have to see a problem with what it is that they're doing to want to do something about it.
Right.
But
Right.
but the thing I see is, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Trey. I definitely agree. There's more factors in that, right? Because look at the pandemic. All the money that was given out, all the stops that were allowed, exposed the economy. And I had a conversation with my boss, who's heavily conservative, and he's like, "Oh, the pandemic. So I mean, the recession is over." I'm like, "My man, we have not hit it. We have not hit this recession." Right? 9/11 happened 2 years later than the recession hit. Right? Same thing here. The pandemic ended what, last year? You could say. Give it another year or so, we'll be there. We'll be at the point where we're struggling again, and property value just goes up and up and up, and we can't afford it. The thing is that we try to give out, and with the hyperinflation, is a case in point, is giving out all the money that, hey, it's here to help you because it fixes it. It's putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound, right? It's not helping the issue. It's stopping the issue for 2 seconds. And for those 2 seconds, you see a light, like, yes, I'm out of here, I'm good. But you're not seeing the problem that's coming, right? I was on unemployment. I was getting money. I was like, yeah, look at me, da-da-da. I knew that my day would come. I filed my taxes. I had to pay a majority of that back. Smart enough. I kept that money so I could pay it back. But not many people did. And that's the mentality, is that we as society nowadays look towards the now and not towards the future. And in that, our nation is the same way, is built the same way. I don't defend a former president, but there is one thing that I can say that he was right on. The U.S. needs companies. It needs its own sustainability. Everything that we rely on is imports. From computers to plastic to clothes. We all get that from other countries. We don't get that from ourselves. So when that president put an embargo on China sending us stuff, what happened? Everything went up because now China has to find another way to send it here or send it more aggressively. And they also said, hey, you want to charge us more? All right, fuck yeah. We're going to charge you more. And that doesn't come out of the big politicians' pockets. That comes out of our pockets because we need that stuff. And therefore, I can go to the tech route. A graphics card naturally cost $300 when I started building computers. Now it costs about $1,500.
Wow.
And that's because of that.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, graphics cards are amazing. They can do really good things. Is it worth $1,500 for me to upgrade a graphics card? No. I could buy a freaking piece of shit car with that. And that piece of shit car get me to work every day. But the point is that we don't have anything to claim that we make, that we systematically own. We outsource everything. And that also in turn weakens the dollar because we don't have a trade to say, hey, we got this, here's for you. We don't sell our oil like that. We don't sell the corn that we used to have plethora of stocks of, which now which I laugh because a couple years ago they limit how much corn you can sell and how much cows you can breed. I'm like, what are you talking about? But then you realize it's all control mentality. I'm not getting into conspiracy, Joe, but it's honestly it's a lot of, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and then when it comes time when the shit hits the fan, we do the band-aid measure, and that's the point.
Yeah, um, no doubt. So you hit on some good stuff, right? We need to be operating in a place of power and strength. I just took a moment to look at our national debt.
Oh man.
Our national
Hold
debt.
on,
And is
hold
it
on, hold on,
how,
hold on.
how many
You ever
how many
looked at
digits?
it?
How many digits?
I'm
Go ahead.
all right. Our national debt is at 31 trillion, right? And the question that I always have every year, because they always have to raise the ceiling on the national debt, and the question that never gets answered, and this is what I really want people to think about, is how much debt is too much debt? Right now we have 31 trillion. Is 41 trillion enough? 50 trillion? 100 trillion? When do you say you're too much in debt? Right? Because that question never gets answered. So what we need is an economy where people are saving more, um, and we can spend down on our deficit. These are not conversations that people really have, right? We just talk about spend, spend, spend. Like you guys are saying, pandemic. Oh man, money. Okay, 2008 we had the financial crisis. Oh, yeah, just give them money. We having problems with the bank right now. Yeah, money. Yeah, we got money for days. We just have money. And it's like, well, where's this coming from? So the world is looking at, just like I went on the internet and saw how much our debt is. You don't think that China and everybody else knows what the U.S. debt is, and realizing you guys are way in a hole. There's no way you're going to be able to pay back your debts. So we going to party amongst ourselves because we really can't mess with y'all. You know, that's what the big issue is. We won't balance our books. We don't believe in paying off our deficits. We have no intentions of getting the debt down. And I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. To me, that has absolutely no bearing. When the Democrats are in charge, they like to spend, spend, spend. When Republicans are in charge, they want to spend, spend, spend. So it takes a different mentality to try to fix this thing, and I don't think we're there.
Got you. Go ahead. Ness, Days, and then I'll go.
Um. So, I guess I can start this by saying, I guess explaining a personal philosophy of mine, and that's nihilism. I pretty much feel like nothing matters. But uh, nothing matters, so just have fun, right? Enjoy yourself.
YOLO.
So when it comes to that, I don't generally keep up to date with politics, economics, and all that. Um, but I make sure that I know people that do, and they can inform me in this way. And I'm taking this more of an education of what's going on.
Okay.
And in that regard, just understanding those things about me, um, my worry is kind of low only because I have so much other personal shit to worry about that it's like I don't want to add another thing to the plate. So I'll bask in my ignorance, and as they say, ignorance is bliss. So,
He's ghosting the issue.
yeah. But like it is serious. I recognize it as something serious, and I do understand how it'll affect me or how it can affect me. Um, it's just something I don't want to add to my plate of worries, essentially. Because not to go crazy, you gotta choose what you worry about. Um, and I mean, sometimes people don't have that choice. Sometimes they're just gonna worry about everything. Um, that sucks, but I basically that's that. I choose the route of ignorance on it, at least in the sense of not worrying about it. I choose not to worry about it, even though I understand the impact and I understand how serious it is.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So real
Yep,
quick, just to
yep.
add to what he's saying, and to people listening, of course, the way it's going to affect us first is they're going to subtract all the money from Social Security. That's the money that we get deducted from every check, right? That we put in, that we hope that when we are old and we can't work anymore, that we can get back, right? So that's going to affect us in that, in public assistance, and many other ways. But I just want to just fill that in. I'm sorry.
So good. Go ahead, Days.
One more part to that. Sorry. And as like an extension of Nothing Matters. So whatever, right? Um, Currency is fake. I just like all of it. Like to me, it's. I understand its purpose. It's stupid. And it's it's not something that is needed in the way that we use it. And um, yeah, I mean, it's not something that uh, I feel is necessary, regardless of my needs for it, because that just happens to be, you know, how everything operates. So I need to have money because I need to pay my rent, I need to buy food, I need to do that. It shouldn't be a need, um, because there are other ways around that. Um, it's a matter of greed. It's a matter of lording over other people. It's just it's money's fake.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people overlook it, but money ultimately to some people is a tool. You know, it's a way to connect the dots. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, the value of that dot is dropping. So you know, the price of some things going to be going up based on certain levels of conversation. You know,
Okay.
and
Are
going
you
back.
concerned? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, oh, um, yeah, of course. I'm especially someone that plans on doing business and things like that. I'm very concerned. You know, and tapping into things that Dre and Ness and y'all was saying, like, you know, he said that the debt, and I believe they probably don't have a concern, because some say they print money. You got the Federal Reserve. People are just like in control of printing money. You feel what I'm saying? So why would you stop the debt from going up when you kind of close with the person that kind of prints the bread? You know what I mean? That kind of like makes up the imaginary number that you need to keep you going for like sake.
Okay. Uh, that was it. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, that was about it.
Okay. I didn't know if it was a long pause or if you was done. I said, all right, let me wait.
Dramatic effect.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we build up our shit. You know what I'm
Pause.
saying? Sometimes we be like, yeah, because what I really want niggas to know. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm gonna start by informing the audience about some of the things that we spoke about. You guys spoke about that they may or may not know, and then I'll respond. And so I'll start with fiat currency. What is fiat currency? Fiat currency is currency that lacks intrinsic value and is established as a legal tender by government regulation. Traditionally, currencies were backed by physical commodities such as silver and gold, but fiat money is based on credit worthiness of the issuing government, which means it's a trust system, right? And so it means, as Dre said, it's not backed by any tangible assets. It's nothing that is equal to. So when it was
It's like
backed
word
by
of mouth.
gold, huh?
It sounds like it's like backed by word of mouth.
It's a trust system. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a trust
Yeah.
system. So, I believe in the days dollar because I believe in days, but the days dollar doesn't equal the shit in reality. So a fiat currency means, like Dre was saying before, a dollar represented X amount of gold or X percentage of gold based on what we had allegedly. That's no longer. And so that's fiat currency. That's one of the definitions I wanted to explain to the audience just in case they did not know. And now, for something to be labeled a recession, it says there must be a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in the GDP in 2 consecutive quarters. We had that already during COVID. And so, yes, and I said on my solo pod more than once, the government does not want to officially say we're in a recession because the boogeyman, right? They don't want people to be scared because people are scared of hearing the word recession. When you hear
Mala
recession, you think, oh shit, the Candyman is coming. Oh shit, Bloody Mary's coming. Oh shit, problems are coming. And so that's why they have not labeled it a recession. But by definition, we have been in a recession for a while now. And so that's that. And the last thing I will tell the audience before I respond to everything everyone said is Social Security, which Tez mentioned. And this is from a government website. It says, as a result of changes to Social Security enacted in 1983, benefits are now expected to be payable in full on a timely basis until 2037, when the trust fund reserves are projected to become exhausted. That means in 2037, ain't nobody else getting any more fucking Social Security. And so that brings us all to me responding to the original question. Am I concerned with the current state of the dollar? Yes, I am. Like Dre, I have been concerned with the state of the dollar for a while. Yes, this alliance, quote unquote, BRIC is making things really, really tricky. And that's why I brought the question here, because you have what BRIC, you have the BRIC situation, people removing themselves from the dollar. And we already were in a decline slash recession for a while now, because when the pandemic hit, we all know hyperinflation began. And we all know that the cost of goods has increased drastically as a result. And so, what happens when our dollar is worth less in the eyes of the world? Dre already kind of touched light on, right? So, what happens is his example of bread, Tez's example of what was your example, Tez? Oh, graphics cards.
There you go.
I got your back, player. So, the graphics cards, the bread are perfect examples, right? And so, the more it costs for us to import things or make things, because it is harder to pay for it, the more people are going to be charged. And so, consumer goods, graphics cards, breads, eggs are a big deal out in these streets. People are really mad.
You forgot my example, Jake.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. What was your example?
Pussy. Nah, my bad. I'm kidding.
See, that's why I'm scared of you.
First of all,
That's why I'm scared of you.
first of all, that's a whole nother.
Hold on.
That's a whole nother pod because cats been raising the price.
Hold on. Before
I'm done.
just to nip this,
I'm
just to
done.
nip that in the bud real quick. It
Taylor Swift is.
it has been on the proposition to legalize prostitution. I'm just saying.
My bad.
just saying.
I'm just finish.
I try to be quiet and let everybody go. You know what I'm saying? And then niggas cut me off to talk about pussy. See?
So you don't have a problem talking about that, son. Come on.
Nah,
son,
no,
stop
I'm being
it.
silly. I'm being
Oh,
silly.
okay, all right.
You see these damn man podcasters. Damn it. No, I'm just playing. But back to the serious topic. So when cost of goods goes up, it becomes harder for us to pay for these things, and it is unfortunately tied to the fact that we don't know what the dollar is worth because it's a trust system. When other nations or inside of our nation trust goes down for the dollar, so does the cost of good. The cost of good goes up. So as trust comes down, everything goes up, right? And so that's what everyone here is saying. It's really tricky. And yes, it is tied to the Fed, right? Because on every dollar printed is an amount of debt. And so the more we print money, the more we have to raise the debt ceiling. Everything everyone said here is true. For me, these are more, as everyone loves to say on the internet, red flags. And so we got all these red flags going on, and most people don't give a fuck. Most people are idly just living life and okay with it until something that they want goes up. Eggs have been all over the internet. People just putting up prices and showing pictures of, I can't believe a carton of eggs costs $8 now. This is ridiculous. Or when gas was crazy, You know what I'm saying? Nobody gave
People
a
were
fuck
stealing
until,
gas out of people's cars. It was
and that's what I'm
crazy.
saying. But before that, everybody was quiet. Mum's the word until it affects something you care about. And so that's one of the problems we have as a society, right? We don't give a fuck until it hits us in the mouth, right? You say, oh man, I saw that guy get robbed. Oh, I saw that guy get robbed. Nah, I didn't get robbed until you get robbed. And now you're like, man, this guy robbed me and he bloodied my lip. You know, he stained my brand
This
new
shit
white
needs to
t-shirt.
stop.
Right. Now it's a problem, you know? In the words of Eminem, now it's a travesty. And so I think the problem is that we are not looking at things on a national level. We're not looking things on a societal level. We're looking at things as individuals very often. And so when I say, well, I'm doing okay, yeah, but that don't mean everybody else in the pod is doing okay. If nobody
Right.
else can afford to pay their rent, but you can, well, that's great for you. But the rest of your squad is suffering. The rest of society is suffering. The rest of your neighborhood is suffering. And so
Correct.
I think people forget how quick a purge can really happen. I'm taking us dark. I'm gonna just take us there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, when you can't get eggs, you can't get the milk, you can't pay for gas, you can't pay your rent, what you think people gonna do next? Don't have to answer. It could stay rhetorical. But what you think people gonna do next? And that's when people really gonna be upset. That's when it's like, oh nah, now I might have to eat my neighbor because I can't find any meat anywhere. Now I might have to chop up my neighbor with the machete and see what they taste like. That's when you gonna care. But see, that's the problem. If we
Or
shouldn't
I
wait
can mow
until
the
it
shit out of
becomes
his lawn. I can mow the shit out of his lawn and make me a salad. Goddamn it! Fuck you talking
all right, you enjoy that more that lawn, mowed lawn salad. Uh, I appreciate your optimism, but that's when it's gonna get real. And I think the problem is we very often look at things on an individual basis. Oh yeah, oh word, that's what's happening over there. Oh man, that's fucked up. What's happening in Tennessee? Yeah, but I'm good over here though. Everything is cool over here. Oh, that's what word. That's what they did in Utah. Oh man, that's crazy that my kid, if they lived in Utah, they couldn't use social media without permission. But I don't live in Utah, so fuck them. Okay, but remember, it's gonna come to you eventually, and we can't always wait till the problem knocks on our door to be concerned. And so
about?
yeah, I'm concerned about the U.S. dollar, and I have been. Go ahead, Dre. I see you.
Yeah, I'm about. You see, I'm getting close up. Yo, so yo, man, you hit everything on the head, and I just want to deep dive into a couple of things. So, uh, absolutely, right? It's like, well, why are people not concerned? Number one, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, I don't believe in conspiracy theory. I
Conspiracy
believe
facts.
in conspiracy
Let's
facts.
get it.
Right. So there is a
That's
difference.
right.
So why is it that most people can tell you about Cardi B, Lizzo, the UFC
Hold on,
cats,
let me share my screen and play them the Big
and
Short. Hold on.
18 and 18 different video games and what Marvel is doing, and like we know all that shit, right? It's like that's the thing that we keeping up with. And why not? We don't know about finance, whatever. It's nobody's fault, but these things are made to kept boring, right? They talk about it in a boring way. They use words that people don't understand. They don't want you to understand it. So this is why it's talked about by stiff shirt cats who use words that we don't really know or we're not trying to look up, and we're made to not be concerned about it. This is how you get away with shit, because you don't have an educated populace. More people are concerned about who wins the NFL or the NBA finals or whatever than they are about the dollar, right? So what Nestor was saying is true. Ignorance is bliss. I don't know about it, whatever. But you're right. When shit comes knocking on the door, now it's like, wow, how did we get here? Well, we've been headed here. You just didn't take a chance to look out the window. You was busy on your device or whatever. You didn't see the direction we were going. And so, yeah, I agree. People have to snap out of Candyland and look at what's going on. The other thing I wanted to talk about is something else that Nestor said in terms of like currency being fake. And you're right, it is. And it's like exactly what Jay said. It's faith based. It's no different than whatever religion you believe in. You know, it's no evidence of it. You just everyone believes in, I'm just going to use the name for an example. Everyone believes in Jesus Christ or Horus or whatever they want to believe in, and then you base your life based on the belief. Well, currency is pretty much the same thing. It's just this thing that we all just choose to believe in, pretty much because we're forced to. That's why the word fiat, you're kind of forced to do it. And, we buy and sell and trade based on this like fake thing. Well, how do we get out of it? And here's the thing. It's going to be everything that you guys are saying. It's going to be it getting so bad, so many purges, so many collapses in the financial system, so many other countries saying we don't want to have anything to do with the US dollar. Unfortunately, in order for things to get better, things have to break, right? You don't worry about your microwave until it breaks. You don't worry about anything in your house until something goes wrong. Then you want to know how the TV works. Then you want to know how does this microwave work anyway? Now it's broken. You wasn't concerned about it before. And so the thing that Nestor was speaking on is a society based on abundance versus a society based on scarcity. When we have currency is basically a society based on scarcity. It says there's not enough of things, and so hoard as much as you can, and create this rich poor dynamic where I have more of the things than you have. That's a scarcity mindset, and currency is the underlying of that. When you don't have currency, like Nestor is talking about, then you have a society based on abundance, where it's like we don't need to buy and sell. If you need something, just go get it. You hungry? Just walk to the store, get what you want. There's no currency. You just get what you need. You need a new phone. Well, take your old phone back, get the new one, and there you go. That's a society based on abundance. Could we ever get there? Yeah, but the only way we're going to get there is every other system has to fail. There's no way people are going to be like, yeah, that sounds like a good system. Let's do it. No. Everything else is going to have to fail. Every currency is going to have to break down. It's going to be some real hard times. All that purge stuff, watch the Book of Eli. Understand what they're trying to say in that. When things really get so hard that we have to look and say, everyone's suffering. We need a new way of looking at things. Then people can look at systems that are based on abundance and say, hey, maybe the whole currency thing was dumb, but that's going to take, we won't be here. It'll probably take your kids' kids. You know what I'm saying? It'll be Days the Third that will maybe come up with that. You know what I'm saying? But we won't be here. It would be so horrible that it will take generations of darkness for us to get to the light. And I just wanted to kind of like illuminate that
that's cool.
that piece.
Does anybody want to respond before I share my screen? I had to pull it up, son. Please hold. Gotta do this because when it's already out there, you gotta show them the shit.
Therapist called. You did it again.
There were no cabs. What was I supposed to do?
You're running around like you have to right every wrong in the world.
Okay. Fine. You know what? I'm a mean guy and I'm pissed off. You have no idea the kind of crap people are pulling, and everyone's walking around like they're in a damn Enya video. They're all getting screwed, You know what they care about? They care about the ball game. Or they care about what actress just went into rehab.
I think you should try medication.
Very quick.
Is that Steve Carell?
Of course. You never seen The Big Short?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a movie I definitely want to see, but I haven't had a chance to see.
I
But
believe it's on Netflix.
I've seen a few clips.
I'm not used to that being
Homework.
I'm not used to that being his
Homework.
voice.
Everybody got homework.
There you
man.
go. See what we did?
Nah, check that out.
See what we did?
Yeah, see how we got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Gotcha. We got him.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But the biggest part of that clip, thanks for showing
No
that,
problem.
is he's saying what people are concerned about.
Yep.
He's saying in that clip, this dude, the dude, he's showing that, yo, all these indications are showing that there's going to be a huge collapse. No one's talking about
And they
this.
don't give a fuck.
And I'm the crazy guy because I'm shouting, this is about to happen. And everyone's like, we party and I want to hear about that. You're corny. You're weird. The market is doing great. He's like, no, but look at all the indications. And so when people are like, oh, I was taken by surprise and nobody knew. No, people knew. You didn't hear them. You weren't looking. You were
weren't
more
paying
concerned about what some celebrity was doing in their life. You know, you was watching Gwyneth Paltrow
Gwenison.
have the skiing accident. You know what I'm
Gwenison.
saying? The skiing accident than you were more about, you know, your
No,
finances.
I think
But like I said, it's not your fault because that shit is made to be boring, so you won't pay attention.
well, I
ahead,
believe that even if they seen it, because we joke about this all the time with like artists and shit like that, gangster rappers, quote unquote. But I'll take it further. I'll be like, they could watch a motherfucker play with alligators and he could die at the hands of an alligator, and motherfuckers would be surprised. I'd be like, he was doing some alligator shit. Like how are you surprised that he died at the hands of an alligator and he was doing some alligator shit? Like, this is what he do. You feel what I'm saying? So I have reason to believe that they could watch you go through the entire ordeal. Like, they could be watching the whole money ordeal. Jay, we talk about this, like it's like them sitting in on a news. When they're giving out information, they'll be at the podium saying a whole bunch of shit, and somebody will be like, "Oh my God, he said that," and you'll be like, "Damn, that's what you heard." Out of that whole thing, that's what you heard. So I believe that they could see the whole ordeal and still miss it. Some way, somehow, they'll still be shocked. You feel what I'm saying?
That's what the system is designed to do, right? And so that's what Dre is saying, and I agree. It's boring, not boring, whatever. The whole thing is misinformation and distraction, right? That's the game. It's look left so I could go right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's that on Dave's wall? So I could do some total different shit you're not paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? In the movie Lucky Number 11, they call that a Kansas City shuffle. It's when everybody goes right and you go left. And so that's the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? That is what the system is designed to do. It's so you could say, oh yeah, but Beyonce didn't win the Grammy she should have won. Oh, this happened at the Super Bowl. Wow, I can't believe that the refs fucked up the Eagles Super Bowl. And that's what we're going to talk about for the next month.
Hey. Some of us are still better, okay?
Well,
take it easy.
But I'm saying that's what happened, right? That's the whole thing. The whole thing is look at what's going on in the Coliseum and forget about what Rome is doing.
Now we talking.
Bars.
Man, see
bars.
Bars. No, and it's so important because you got to understand that this is nothing new. This has been going on. So we know Rome as a society fell. Well, how did Rome fall? Well, you know what hyperinflation is, right? Rome overextended itself. More wars, more land, overextending on every part of the planet. Wasn't really paying attention to what was going on at home. People saw the weakness of the city. Rather than really addressing the issues, they were like, you know what? Let's put on some more gladiator battles. That'll get cats, and so we could just continue doing our sneaky shit. And eventually it fell. The people didn't know because they were more concerned about the new gladiator than they were about what their senators were doing.
Exactly.
And so that's why it's nothing new. It's like we've seen this before time and time again. And so to think that the United States is somehow special and blessed that it won't succumb to its own demise.
Well, that's because it's blessed by God.
Wishful thinking.
Oh boy.
I just lost us 10 subscribers.
I always have an issue with that because I feel like when they say it, you could be asking for it too. It's like, God bless America. It's not like he did it. It's like they asking for him to do it too. So I don't know.
Well, yeah,
What if
we know that
this
Anakin,
is the blessing, the impending failure?
I was about to say we know that Anakin is supposed to bring balance to the Force, but we didn't know he was going to smash everything.
All right.
then bring balance.
Then I'll
to the
bring
sport.
balance.
So you know what I'm
Kill
saying?
the younglings.
Right. The balance will come, but it's gonna be mad destruction. I'm gonna kill every Jedi that I see. I'm gonna kill him on the movies. I'm gonna kill him on the video games. I'm killing Jedi,
That's it.
son.
Well, you gotta,
I'm gonna get other people to kill
you gotta
Jedi.
destroy
And so it make
to rebuild.
That's it.
well, there
The
you
bridge
go.
is over.
And so lock yourself in for the road of destruction we're coming towards, because that's really what's
Dre
happening.
talking like it's
So,
gonna be Mad Max out here.
Yeah, I mean,
Son.
listen, it's possible.
Days, I'm gonna say this quote because you already know. Guns and butter.
That's it.
I was gonna say
Guns and butter.
situational and circumstance.
Bro. It's gonna be guns and butter.
It will,
Guns
yeah.
and butter.
Yeah.
It's gonna be guns and butter, bro.
Mhm.
It's gonna be guns and butter. That's what's gonna matter at the end of the
Yeah.
day. If you got it and I don't, well, I'm gonna need this
That's-
gun to get your
that's
butter.
it.
Right. Dog eat dog. That's
Yeah.
far fetched.
That's it.
You know, and we don't think this. We're high society.
That's right.
We're you know, we have this bullshit first world, second world, third world. All right, y'all believe in all that if y'all want to.
Until you
You know,
until you
what's go-
fall.
Right. And I just feel like, yo, start paying attention, you know, asking those kind of questions. How much debt is, you know, when somebody's like, I'm running to make things right, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. Just have a simple question for them. How much debt can the U.S., you know, maintain? 30, 50, 80, 6, like, well, how much?
Right.
That's been my question for the past 20 years, and no one has been able to answer
Right.
it.
And then they introduced Fed now. All right, let me stop.
Oh,
That's
man.
that's a
Don't
coming.
do that. Don't do that.
That's a
Oh,
coming.
In conclusion.
yeah. Oh,
In
yeah.
conclusion.
Oh, yeah.
In conclusion,
Right.
Fed now coming
Yeah,
soon.
that's a whole nother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the purge right there.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Cash App who? Your founder died. Ooh. Now I'm ODing.
That's the beginning of the purge right now. No, you're not.
They
ODing,
purging
but
in
you
different.
dropping those
They
hints. That's
purging in
like
different ways.
start. Oh, that's the whole. That's why the purge is the flyest joint out there. Because in order to make a movie, you know, I'm big in the movies. I know y'all big in the movies too. Movies has to exaggerate something to try to make a point. And so the purge is only exaggerating something to make this point that, hey, you're going to get to a point where we have all these social services and you can't pay for everybody. So how do we kind of get rid of people without getting rid of people? Or have them get rid of each other?
There you go.
Man.
All right.
So
And
yeah.
And we're doing it
Dab
on a
that
smaller
fool.
scale. On a smaller scale, we're doing it. On a smaller scale, we're doing it. Or even on a broader scale, we're doing it. In a lot of different ways, we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, especially
Right.
in the hood. Especially in the hood, they're doing it.
Right.
Well, that's the
So
hood
keep
is
up
their
the good
their
work.
favorite playground.
Absolutely.
Of course.
However,
course.
for those that seen the movie, during the purge in the hood, what were they doing? They were partying, they were civil, they were in solidarity. It wasn't until they planted an ambush. So
That's right.
with that being said, we were in solidarity. We were not killing each other, we were chilling. And they plotted an ambush, and that set everything
Yeah.
off.
Purge parties, baby.
These stupid purge parties.
Yeah.
No, that's what they was doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it
Yeah,
was.
that's what they was calling them. If you watch the movie The First Purge, the first thing cats do is like, I don't know what the fuck a purge is, but we're gonna have this purge party tonight. Purge party at Nestor's crib. Everybody go to Nestor's purge party. If you watch the first Purge, that's what they did.
Right. And the government wasn't satisfied with that. They wasn't satisfied with people being harmonious. And they sent in agitators to get the party
The
started.
real party.
You know what I'm saying? Right. The objective they were trying to get. And yeah, so Days, you're right. It's like, okay, you look at these things and you realize, wow, even in our most dire circumstances, most of the time people come together.
Correct.
You know, I live someplace where we have like a lot of hurricanes and stuff like that. When all the chips are down, you know, people just start, I'm gonna start grilling. You bring this, and there's this harmonious thing. Well, that is not the aspect that some people want.
Correct.
And so they will bring in agitators who have the full blessing of the state to get a certain result.
Order 66.
And there you go. See, I'm back.
You see, sometimes I just want to put that little last drop in there. Ness, you look like you was about to say something.
Yeah.
You was about to say something? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Are you concerned with the American dollar? Do you like ghosting people? Do you hate on your friends? You're probably not going to tell us if you hate on your friends. Or have you been hated on by your so-called friends? On that note, we're out of here. We hope you enjoyed this month's episode of Man Cave Monday. We see y'all next month.